Hello golfers, Will here, Golf Psychologist. Today I'm going to be showing you how to diagnose the problems in your swing. And I want to lead with this. It may not be your hips. Stay tuned. Okay, there's a lot out there about the hips. I even have a couple videos on how to use the hips and really diagnose where you're going wrong with that. And I talk a lot about how it's the pelvis, not the hips. But if you look on YouTube, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's like we're obsessed with the hips. And my challenge to you is to think a little bit more broadly about cause and effect. So we hear a lot with the hip discussion that the issue is we're getting too close to the ball with our trail hip. And so the focus needs to be on how to move your hips and how to not get closer with that hip. And if you do that, and I've seen some people putting the ball against the wall and they're trying to use that exercise ball to open up their hip and rotate and turn and twist, and maybe it's in my knees, maybe it's in my ankles. It's very confusing, and you can go down a rabbit trail and work all kinds of hours on that stuff and see zero results. I know because I've done it, and when I talk about results, it's all about what happens on the course. It does not matter what you do on the driving range. It's can you do it on the course? Anybody can hit hundreds and hundreds of balls with no consequence for those bad shots and get into a flow and a rhythm on the driving range. And then you go out and you can't do a lick of good on the course. So this is kind of one of those things where if you're diagnosing the wrong problem, you can spend so many hours doing the wrong thing. So here's an example. We talk about, okay, if you're getting too close to the ball in the downswing, that's the problem. So you've got to push your hips out in order to create more space to come into the ball. Heard that before. Where I'm challenging you to rethink that is in this concept that I'm going to share with you. When you take the club back, at some point you have to establish a plane for your arms, your hands, and the club head. And one way that I easily train people to do that is once you get to about right here, you're just turning, rotating. If you can look at the watch on my left wrist, it's going from being hidden to being on top. Somewhere in that is the right amount of rotation with the forearms to get the club on plane. Now, how you can also kind of use a measuring device or a checkpoint is the club shaft going through the trail shoulder. You can see there, that's the plane that I want to get on to take it to the top. So you establish that plane. Now on the way down, you have to come down into the ball in this sort of way where you can see a window between the forearms. And look at all that space. The elbow isn't touching the body. I have lots of room to swing in through here. Now, if my problem is the hips, then look at the swing plane first. Look at where your hands are and your club is in relative to your downswing. If you're really crowded in here and the elbow's up against the body, well, yeah, I have zero space to work with. So I'm gonna get closer to the ball with my hips. That's the only way I can hit the ball if those arms are so trapped over here. But if you see professional golfers, when they come into the ball, that trail elbow is away from the body. So again, in order for that to even happen, the hips have to stay back. But if I just focus on the hips and I have swing path issues, I can work on the hips all day long and nothing's going to change. So if you work on your path and how to keep that space, automatically your body is staying in the right position. I get to that rotation, get to the top of my swing. Now I want to come down on that same exact plane. If I do that, my hips stay back. Okay, so I'll hit a shot for you and just talk you through how to do that in a drill. I get to about right, that takeaway, hands get past the trail leg. I'm going to rotate. Again, it's the shaft going through the right shoulder. You're going to have to put yourself on camera or get a mirror to see that. But once I get that, now I'm ready to start my downswing in this sort of a way. As I'm coming in to the ball, facing the camera, you can see how the lead shoulder starts to rotate back and the right hip stays quiet in order for that space to be taken up by my arms and the club. If I make the wrong move from here and go down, I have to get closer to the ball. So I'll hit a shot for you with that drill. I address the ball, take away, make my rotation, get to the top, and then I'm just going to make sure I have enough space to get back to the ball with that same exact swing plane. And the thing I'm looking for is trail arm underneath my lead arm. That is the whole entire key of the downswing. If that trail arm gets too much dominant on top, you can see I get too trapped with the hands, and then I have nowhere to go except to lean in. So on the way down, as I do this drill, I'm trying to focus on left arm over right arm. Now, you may be looking at this and you go try it and think, if I do that, I'm gonna shank that ball, it's gonna go way right. Yeah, you will hit some shanks, but do it a few times and force yourself to release the club on that extension that you're trying to get to, and eventually you'll start hitting them solid. Okay, here's what it looks like. Maybe you saw the ball, maybe you didn't. The ball went perfectly straight with just a little slight draw on it, and I can do that drill over and over again and groove that feeling of how to keep the hands and arms working out in front of the body. And if I do that, if I focus on that, I don't even have to think about my hips. They're gonna stay back because I'm getting that space. And that's what I would say is probably 90%, maybe even 99% of amateur golfers' problems with the hips. It's that they're not swinging on the correct path and they're thinking about the process wrong. So diagnose that with me and get in there and do some of those drills, and I guarantee you, you're gonna see some results. People have been asking, do I do virtual golf lessons? Yes, I do. If you go to my website, findyourpeakperformance.com, you can get in touch with me there about how to do a virtual golf lesson where you send me some videos. I will personally analyze your swing and send you a video with me talking about your swing and what you can do to improve it. I also do mental performance coaching, so you can get a hold of me through that website, and maybe I can be of personal help to you further. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Good luck.